Mr. Lloyd, go ahead, please. 6 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the witnesses for being here today. Very informative panel. Mr. Wark or Dr. Wark? Mr. Wark, do you think that any foreign interference campaign, whether it be from China, Iran, Russia, or any other foreign state actor, hostile foreign state actor, is it more effective for them to basically create false campaigns out of nowhere, or is it that they generally latch on to existing societal issues to amplify their campaigns?
Thank you, Mr. Lloyd. It's an excellent question. I think the general view that emerges from studies of propaganda offensives over decades, if not centuries, is that they are typically most effective when they are able to latch on to existing views, even if they're very minority views, and try to amplify them and find new audiences for them and spread them. So I think it's relatively rare that a disinformation operation from a foreign authoritarian state would try to create some brand new narrative. They depend for their success on kind of latching on to what they understand to be societal dynamics in foreign states. But I would just say, finally, with regard to this is potentially a weakness for authoritarian foreign states because it requires a fairly sophisticated understanding of the state that they're targeting.
Yes, and so I guess my question kind of leads into like these concerns that Canadians have right now regarding inflation, housing, crime. Like these aren't issues that are being made up by foreign state powers. They might be being amplified by them, but there aren't issues that are being made up by foreign powers. These are real issues that Canadians are facing. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely, and of course disinformation campaigns love as well to latch on to various kinds of conspiracy theories that might link to some of those significant societal issues.
Thank you for that. It's interesting, at our previous panel that we had last Tuesday, I was very concerned, the witnesses talking about the high level of infiltration in Canada's media and academics in particular. I learned about the existence of a group called the Valdi Institute, or the Valdi Club. Can you comment on the role of Russian misinformation, disinformation campaigns on influencers in academia and media?
I may be the wrong person to give you an absolutely objective view of this coming out of that academic community, but I would say that the impact within the academic world is probably pretty limited. If you take the example of the Valdi Club, I cannot imagine that there are many Canadian academics who would fully subscribe to their activities in the present day. The Valdi Club has kind of evolved over time. It is certainly something much more sinister and propaganda-oriented than it was when it was first established. So I don't think there's a large traction in the academic community. I also doubt that that's really a significant target for Russian disinformation operations. And I think the CSIS intelligence assessment is interesting in that regard because it really is suggesting that what Russia would like to be able to do as a foreign state actor in disinformation is kind of latch on to a Russian diaspora in Canada and try and use elements of that diaspora to spread the message further. But there are significant limitations in their ability to do that.
Interesting. Now, you talked about the weaknesses of the government's actions. You're talking about the minuscule investment at Global Affairs Canada. Can you elaborate further on that? And why do you believe there's been such a minuscule investment? And what do you think needs to actually be done in order to deter this Russian misinformation and other foreign actors for that matter?
So an excellent question, and probably government officials are better placed to explain, how this attention has evolved. But I'm confident in my appraisal that it is minusculely resourced at RRM Canada. The best available figures are there between 6 and 8 officials assigned to that unit at Global Affairs. And there is also, in addition to the human talent question, the technological capacities that you need sophisticated ones to be able to sift through an immense universe of social media and other internet activity to come up with indications of disinformation campaigns. This is why I think the general understanding is that no government, no matter how well it might resource a unit like RRM Canada, is able to do that on its own. It has to be able to engage in partnerships, extensive ones, with established social media monitoring companies, with established private sector open source intelligence organizations. And this is something that, frankly, the Canadian government is very bad at doing, creating those partnerships.
Based on the comments you just made, the minuscule investment, do you think that this government's not taking this issue as seriously as they should be?
I think they have come to take it seriously, partly under pressure of the events. I think attitudes shifted with regard to the seriousness of Russian disinformation after the Russian invasion of Ukraine, although Russia's been a problematic actor in international affairs for a long time. Similarly, I think attitudes profoundly shifted with regard to understanding China's engagement with the world in the context of the Two Michaels case. So there have been shifts, but they have been recent ones and perhaps delayed.
Would you say our current government was taken by surprise by this development?
Thanks. If witnesses can answer quickly.
By surprise. Thank you for this opportunity. Yes, I think that's fair to say. I think that the scale of both Russian and Chinese aggressive operations targeting democracies in the West, not just Canada, and targeting them across a range of, using a range of tools, not least espionage tools, cyber attack tools. The extent of that aggression did certainly take the Canadian government by surprise.
Thank you.